For truly there were gathered together in this city gathered together in this city, Jerusalem, against your Hagion Paidasu, your holy servant Jesus, whom you anointed, using the same term that was just used up above in Psalm 2, in regards to the Mashiach, the Messiah, Christos, the Anointed One. So they're seeing, it's just the fulfillment is right there in front of them. They're going, wow, this was written hundreds of years ago, and here we're seeing it fulfilled in our day. For truly they were gathered together against your holy servant Jesus. Who? Well, we have Tekai is a form that means both. So both Pontius Pilate, Herod, so it's Herod and both Pontius Pilate. So by name, gathered against him, Herod, a king, Pontius Pilate, representing the authority of Caesar, the Romans, together with Ethnicin Kai Laois Israel, the Gentiles and the people of Israel. And so there you have, in general, the Roman soldiers and the people of Israel. So the people bringing the false accusations, the scribes, the Pharisees. And so the early church sees the conflict brought against the Son. Read Psalm 2. It's amazing. Let us throw his chains, their chains off, and better kiss the Son lest he be wrathful with you. They see in Herod, Pontius Pilate, the Romans and the Jews. They've all been gathered together against Jesus. They experienced it, they saw it, they knew the reality of this. It was a historical thing that they themselves had seen. Okay? Now, let's think for a moment. Herod's role in all of this, we know that Herod was not a well man. He was a crazy man. He wants to see Jesus because he's heard that he does miracles. Think about the motivations of these two people, Pontius Pilate and Herod. Pontius Pilate is a politician who has been put in an almost impossible place to try to keep peace in a place that's a powder keg. He has ambitions in Rome, and Herod has no such ambitions, and clearly is not a well person. And so very, 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 very different individuals coming into this place from completely different backgrounds. Think about the Roman soldiers. They're just sick and tired of being stuck in this backwater of the Mediterranean. And the people of Israel, the leaders of Israel, they're just filled with jealousy and hatred, and Jesus has exposed them over and over again. They have been ridiculed. The people of the land have been calling Jesus the Messiah, and they are just sick of the whole thing. Very different motivations. Very different motivations. And notice, the people of Israel, that's plural. Gentiles, that's plural. So you're not talking about just one person and their desires. You're talking about entire groups of people acting as groups of people. They're all gathered together. May I point something out to you? If it is true that the crucifixion takes place at the fullness of time, do we believe that Christ died exactly when the Father intended that to take place? When the triune majesty in eternity past had determined this would take place? That all those prophecies, including those of Judas, lifting up his heel, betrayal, was there any other time this could take place? God, in his sovereignty, in his free sovereignty. This wasn't, well, given the cards I've been dealt, the best time I can have this happen is at this time. Are we really comfortable with believing that there could have been times that God wanted to bring redemption into fulfillment, but couldn't because there was no feasible world wherein it would have taken place at that time? Was this the second choice, third choice, fourth choice? Would anyone who reads these words come to those conclusions? Because notice what then is said in the text. To do. Who? Herod, Pontius Pilate, Gentiles, people of Israel. What they did, they were gathered together to do whatever your hand and your will, your boule, your decree predestined to take place. Now, most of the time when we look at this, we look at the boule, his decree, his intention, predestined to take place. This includes the personal actions of Herod and Pontius Pilate and all these people and all these people. And what this tells us is that the early church as a whole believed that it was the boule of God, the hand of God, that brought all this to take place. And the idea that they also went, yes, but we know that he could only do this because this was a feasible world, is absolutely absurd. There is nothing in Scripture to suggest that they actually believed that there was a constitutive body of data that delimited God's freedom as to when and how he was going to accomplish this. If you believe in middle knowledge, you do believe that. You can try to dodge it all you want. But if you believe, and really, if you just say, well, it's just, but that was the only logical time it could happen. The early church believes this, and there was something that had never really struck me. Your hand. Let me pop something up here and just scroll through a few of them here. Oh, well, that's all right. I'm close enough to read it. Here are just some of the places where you have hand of Yahweh is Yad Yahweh. Yad Yahweh. And so there are so many references to the hand of Yahweh. It's an accepted phrase. And it's what stands behind its use in Acts chapter 4. But frequently it is for example, Deuteronomy 2:15. Moreover, the hand of Yahweh was against them to destroy them from within the camp until they all perished. So the hand of Yahweh is mighty, so that you may fear Yahweh your God forever. And so very often the hand of Yahweh is destructive in the sense of judgment. But there are other places in the prophets where the hand of Yahweh is upon someone and as they prophesy and as they're able to do special things as a result of this. And then you have it in salvation. For example, in Isaiah 59:1, behold, the Lord's hand, the hand of Yahweh, is not so short that it cannot save, neither is his ear so dull that it cannot hear. So there's all of the hand of Yahweh shall be made known to his servants, but he shall be indignant toward his enemies. The point is that all through the Old Testament, all through the text, the hand of Yahweh is his providential activity in his world, accomplishing his purpose, either in bringing judgment, in bringing blessing, pretty much a fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28 and 29. But the point is that there's never anything that indicates that what God does in these places, in bringing judgment, bringing blessing, providentially entering into the accomplishment of his purposes in time. There's nothing anywhere that suggests that this is anything other than what is absolutely free on his part. This is the Eudokia. This is his goodwill, his kind intention of his will that he is accomplishing. And according to Acts chapter 4, the early church understood that the central redemptive activity of all of eternity was predestined by the hand of God freely. Not that he is operating on the basis of a knowledge of human actions that does not flow from his will. There is nothing in that text about anything that does not come from his will. Middle knowledge does not come from his will.